Hey y'all.
Hi.
I'm so excited to be back together.
Yes.
It's been a long time. We should have left you without a dope beat to step to. Step two. Step two. Step
Why
two.
was I thinking when you said that? I was like thinking it in my head. Let me finish that lyric, and it's not me this time that's gonna get us
Right. So if we get flagged, it's
Oh,
one, me, and right at the beginning of the show.
Right at the beginning. Ooh,
right at the
take it
beginning.
fast and loose.
How have y'all been? How have you been over the last couple weeks? My God. It's been a long time for real.
Yeah, there's a lot going on always in the city.
Yes.
I went and saw Black Adam last night.
How was it?
It's a DC movie.
Yep, I heard, that's what I heard.
But
Hey.
but loved seeing, The Rock do his thing. I think he was the best part for me. So
I am not gonna see it. I probably will see it whenever it's on like home viewing. And I'm really excited for Black Panther.
oh
That's what I got.
I got my November 11th tickets 2 weeks ago. I'm super excited. Got my outfit.
Is it all white? Or are you doing something different?
White. I'm wearing white, but it's not all white.
Yeah. Maybe I'll wear my Prince Leia dress.
I was just about to say, sounds like a time for your Princess Leia dress.
Well, I just got back from this retreat in the woods. It was amazing. I did yoga every day. I had little mini nature walks. I hurt my back, so I was very slow about it, but it was great. We had like a private chef that fixed us 3 meals. I was like, is this how rich people live? Ugh,
Was it a work retreat?
Kind of. It was like called a Take a Breath Fellowship, and we really didn't have to do anything. Like there were things offered throughout the day, but we didn't have to do anything. So people were like, I'm just reading books. It was only 7 of us, and it was like really cool. So I feel centered. I feel like I'm in a good mood. I feel like I've walked away with some really good practices. And so let's hope that I can stick to them.
That sounds amazing.
It was necessary.
I love imagining you just being catered to in the woods. Just at your leisure.
It was the end of Libra season, so I was ready to receive.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were. I've just been sleeping really mostly. It's been great.
Mm-hmm.
There were like a few moments this week for the first time where I finally didn't feel exhausted to the bone. So that was pretty cool. I was like, I woke up and I was like, oh, I woke up after last Sunday, which I ended up sleeping. I took like 4 naps last Sunday.
I love it.
And then I thought, oh, I'll wake up really early Monday morning. I sure did not. I slept for another 10 hours.
You needed that. But I bet you were also like emotionally exhausted because like your play was so good, and I can't imagine that it didn't take a lot of emotions out of you.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it definitely did. After the last performance, I just immediately started crying. So yeah.
Talk about the play.
Yes, of course we can.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm just ready for the role of Nicholas Cassadine to be played by Sandra because we know that you can do it. You have the range.
Text me, Frank. Text me.
I just want to say I thought it was amazing. I mean, your skills was great. Like Tracy said, you have great emotional range.
Thank you.
Jealous. But I wanted to note for me, so for those who are listening, Sandra was in part of a compilation of different scenes and skits, and they were all different. Some of them were funny, some of them were very emotional and sad, but all of them conjured up music for me. So as you all know, when I think, I just think of music all the time. And your particular scene, Sandra, in my mind, especially during kind of the emotional climax for you, I was thinking of the song Superwoman by Karen White.
Yes.
It was just all throughout my head, throughout the whole thing. There was other shows. I mean, some of the other scenes were very interactive, required audience participation. Loved the one with the TV show where you're choosing, well, you're kind of choosing the outcome of the date. That was fun. The, you know, the musical with the drag fashion show.
Wonderful. I got to be stagehand for that show. And I was like, this was obviously meant to be. And you know, I was backstage and I felt like I was part of the show. I was like, I was part of the show.
And I forgot what song it was, but you know, everyone's having a good time when everyone's singing along.
My boo.
My boo. I tell you, that's all we were singing every night backstage. I was just singing it earlier.
And and the video
game right now because I don't want to get us in trouble.
The video game reminded me of Dungeons and Dragons. I loved it. I loved every single part of it. So it was a wonderful afternoon I had.
Yes.
So thank you for doing it. Thank you for telling us about it. And hope to see you in more stuff.
I know. I loved how like it was in such a beautiful cultural space, but that was so welcoming, because I walked in, I was like, I'm very different. And then people found out I knew Sandra. They were like, oh, you know Sandra? Come sit here. We have the red carpet for you. I was like, well, you know Sandra, you get the red carpet. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. I love Bindle stuff. It's such a like magical, special place and such an important part of like Filipino American history and of San Francisco history. And it's you know, it's Filipino as fuck, so it is pretty welcoming. And basically anytime I left rehearsal, coming to rehearsal or leaving rehearsal, did you eat? You should eat. You need to eat before you leave. Then just eat a little bit more. So I was fed creatively, spiritually, emotionally, and quite literally physically. Yes.
And the day that I went, the Sunday that I went, I guess was when there was a bunch of elders and seniors there, because I believe the company's doing training for a series of scenes with them that they're going to be acting in. And so at first I was just really surprised. I was like, is this family night? Because there's just a bunch of seniors in there. One of them said that his grandma or his mom was there. And so, and it, you know, some of this stuff was spicy and they were enjoying it. And I was like, yes, I love these seniors who are there, who was enjoying it. I don't know if I would have been able to sit and watch all of that, much less with my grandma, much less knowing that my mom or my grandma were in the audience. That would have been crazy for me.
Yeah. When you went, it was the one matinee. So that is when they bring the seniors in. And a lot of people invite their older family members because the other shows are at like 8 o'clock at night. They don't get out. You're not really getting home until like 11. And so it was a much different crowd. Like every night the crowd's different, but like we were definitely going into it like, oh shit, the Lolas are here. What are they gonna think about? What are they thinking about this? What are they gonna think about that? So that was cool. I could feel their like energy during they were a lot quieter than normally the audience is during my show, but I could feel their like at my husband in the show. Like they were like, but he went and talked to them. He's actually the nicest person in the entire world. I had in my show, I had a husband. He was an asshole. That's the whole story.
The worst.
The fucking worst. And he said when he was like, he went and like said hello to all the Lolas because he's much more polite than I was. I like ran backstage after I talked to Tanya. But they said in Tagalog as he was walking away, oh, he's really nice.
I feel like in order to pull that off, he had to be really nice. Because
Yes.
I was like sitting right next to y'all, and I was like, I will jump on this stage. I was like, oh no, this is not real. This is not real. Okay, this person has not done this to Sandra. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. We actually talked about that. We talked about how like one of the reasons we were able to go there, it was because he and I were like so safe with each other, and also like we're on the same page about toxic masculinity. So he's like, let's get in there, and I'm gonna be the biggest asshole I can, and I'm gonna make this guy look like a fucking dick. So that
And
we
he
can
did.
story. Yeah, and he was great. Yeah.
He
My
did that.
favorite though was the Lola's responses to the lap dance
Mhm.
in the Cristiano's Queen, the drag queen play,
Mhm.
because they were like, ooh, sexy, guapa, like we
Yes,
could
they were into it. I was like,
That's amazing.
grandma.
Because I think that was the one that folks were a little bit like, what are they gonna think? And I'm like, you know what? These Lolas have lived long lives.
Okay.
And they've seen a lot. I'm sure they've seen a lot of queens. They live in San Francisco. No, come on. And they were very into it. But yes, it was very sweet. And it's fun with the different audiences, seeing like what are people gonna react to. Yeah.
Well, it was brilliant.
It was brilliant. You were brilliant. And it was a great reason for you to be away. And we're happy to have you back.
Thank you. I'm happy to be back.
So one of the things that I incorporated while you were gone, I don't think that you were here when I started doing the Am I the Asshole for storylines.
No, we discussed it, but I have not been a part. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to do that. I have a new one as we go into our recap for the week. Ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. My boyfriend's dad is like a supervillain. Now, normally that would be cause for concern, but I myself am a super spy. I thought my boyfriend was up to something shady before we were official. And his something shady could put a lot of people in danger.
Mhm.
Long story short, I got a civilian involved in helping me uncover it. I got the information I needed and attempted to extract her from the operation. She refused. She liked that my boyfriend's dad was giving her gifts, and she said that being a part of the mission made her feel, quote, alive. I did everything I knew to remove her, from bribes to threats, but she refused. Now she's presumed dead. Am I the asshole because she might not have made it?
Absolutely not.
Because of who she is, absolutely not.
I don't see a problem. You tried bribes, you tried threats.
And that's where we stand on that. I love me some Lucy, and Anna was right.
Yes, and it's a yes and.
Yes, and. All right, let's get into it. I have tried to be short. So in Jacksonville / Malibu, Florida, Carly is supported by Bobby and Drew. She loses her bid and has to move Virginia's grave. Peyton Honeycutt apologizes to Carly and they make peace. Crew spread Virginia's ashes on the beach, and apparently that was romantic, so they start making out. Stable Baby and Britt go through Peter's belongings and somehow talk about Jason again. Free Britt from all of this. Stable Baby also decides to get a DNA test to see if he's Mac's son. Scott warns Mac that Cody is a grifter. And speaking of Scott, he also warns Ava to divorce Nicholas before he divorces her. Somehow Scott is on fire. Victor instigates and sends Ava running to Windermere, where Nicholas is holding a pregnant Esme hostage. That's all I'll say about that. Valentine tells Victor he wants to see Charlotte, and Victor agrees, but only on his terms. Valentine has to leave immediately on Victor's private jet, of course. And Vanna says their goodbyes. As stated in Am I the Asshole? Anna tries to extract Lucy from the mission. She even brings home Martin, but Lucy refuses. What no one knows is that Victor put a listening device in a necklace he gave Lucy, and he knows that she is working with Anna. Lucy ends up missing, presumed dead, and Victor is working overtime to frame Anna for murder. Somehow in all of this, Holly watches up in the Cubo house and refuses real medical attention aside from a quick checkup. She's claiming memory loss, but Austin can't find a physical reason why that would be the case. Nina gets into it with both Olivia and TJ at the Metro Court. She refuses to let Olivia buy her out and insists to TJ that he tell her what's going on between him and Willow. TJ tells her to mind her business. So a few other things that happen. At Pentonville, Books continues to threaten Spencer. Cyrus defends him and plants a shiv on Books. Now he's away from my child. So solitary you go, Books. Trina heads out of town with Rory to a comic book convention. Free my girl. Dex gets a promotion with Sunny as a reward for his loyalty. Christina is going to a management training and she reconciles with Alexis. Curtis somehow asks Sunny for advice and decides to do genetic counseling. And Epiphany takes the MCATs, and Portia notes that she and Hat Daddy have grown closer. So that is our week. Sandra, what were your favorite moments?
Oh, well, obviously I loved the Vanna goodbye.
Yes, of course.
So good. I mean, of course there was the Valentine dropping that he loved Anna, which is of no surprise to anyone, but it was still of note. And her response was, if you don't come back, I'll never forgive you. I loved it. It was very like Vanna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She wouldn't say any of the things. He doesn't deserve to hear them yet anyway. And I love that about them. And I really also loved the way that they played the scene. Just like him being like, yeah, I know this is really silly and I'm gonna do it anyway because I need to see my daughter. And like the way that his desperation was showing up and the way that her desperation was showing up in like, she wouldn't say how much it was impacting her, but you could see it. Mm-hmm. And that's Finola Hughes right there. And I also loved the Spencer and Cyrus scene. I still can't get over that actor that played Books just played Brando like a second ago. So when he first came on, I was like, why do I know this guy? What do I know him from? What was he just doing? And I was like, oh, he was fake Brando. That's weird. And anyway, nothing against him. He's not a bad actor, but it just felt weird casting in both parts. But moving on, what I actually cared about was Spencer and Cyrus. I love how delighted Cyrus is by Spencer. It mirrors how delighted I am to see both of them in a scene together, and like how delighted I am by both actors.
Yeah.
I love that anecdote in Soap Opera Digest from this week from Jeff Kober about meeting Nicolas Chavez for the first time at the Emmys. And they're like they both won, and like the way that they met was Jeff was trying to take a selfie with his wife and Nicholas like was ahead of them in line and took the picture for them. I just thought that was so sweet. I was like, oh, my faves winning Emmys. I love like Nicholas playing Spencer's like asinine arrogance and like worldliness, but there's also like the fear. and the reality of the danger he's in at Pentonville, and his kind of like trying to make sense of what Cyrus is doing. And then, you know, Jeff Kober's just always playing that line between like artifice and mind games and like true sincerity, and then that undercurrent of rage. They're just both so good at playing all the levels. And I loved, like, what I really love about their scenes is that the conflict that it brings out in me as a fan of all the characters involved in their storylines. So like Cyrus has done real harm to Laura and Trina, who are two of my faves, and also who are the most important people in Spencer's life. And so to see, but I also really love watching them together. So I like want more, like I want Spencer to like keep getting to know him, but I also know it'll cause so much conflict. But that's like the kind of conflict that I'm very like eager to see. But I'm like, oh, what's Trina gonna think? And oh, what's Laura gonna think? And so that's like an actually like really generative for like actors who have only had a couple scenes together. So I love them, and I can't wait to see more of them together.
I love that Spencer thinks that what you do for someone who saves your life is to give them a special book. He's like, and now I don't owe you. Like, child. I loved it. And I was thinking about you when I saw them in the scenes together. And I was like, I know Sandra loves this because they're, you know, I know Jeff Kober is your bestie.
We're Instagram besties.
I have a lot to say about Vanna, but I'll hold that. Also, you know, getting to meet them was just like so special. And I would say my favorite scenes, I mean, to no one's surprise, would be TJ checking the hell out of Nina. It's Dr. Ashford, actually. Nina, you have a reputation. Why don't you let that not be true?
I loved it.
TJ was not backing down on her. I was like, okay.
We haven't gotten to see Taj's TJ be very spicy with anyone. Like he's had the conflict with Brando and that's it. So this was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And he did it with somebody I don't like. So I loved it especially. So I love that. And then I like in the same way that you love Cyrus is the way I love Victor. And Victor's fake concern for Lucy was killing me. Like I like just the, oh my God, I can't believe, did she rush ashore? Did she, like, it was amazing.
I hope foul play has not befallen her. I have a note. Victor pretending to be innocent and concerned about Lucy was infuriating and on point. It was so good.
I've watched so much of the scenes, and the scene where Anna goes after him at the police station, I was delighted.
And he was running. He was like, oh my God, coming after me.
And he like went and hid behind his lawyer. It was, they're having so much fun, and it's so clear, and it makes it so much fun to watch. Yes. Like, Charles Shaughnessy is loving getting to play with Maura, getting to play with Finola. Like, he is loving it, and I have loved it as well. Like, it has been just a delight. And his faking, like, I could watch it on a loop. It was so good. So those were my favorite scenes.
So good.
What about you, Tanya? Take us to your favorite scenes and who you're giving the Performer of the Week to.
I kind of want to like divide my faves into two categories. So generally great performances. Obviously, I'm giving it to, you know, Finola Hughes and her goodbye scenes with Valentine. And those choked me up. And I, like you, I noticed she didn't say I love you back, but it's so obvious, you know, her concern about what he was doing, her asking people for help. she definitely in her feelings, but she's not, necessarily going to tell him that. She's going to keep it to herself. I loved Lynn Herring's performance as Lucy this week. No matter what Anna threw at her, she was like, "Nah, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. You're not gonna stop me." Stubborn as hell, thinking she got it in hand. Love that for her. Loved her scenes for her. Also, I liked Avery Pohl's scene in the attic and her temper tantrum. She was just giving it, like, she was mad and upset and evil and all of the things that she usually is. So I want to give her kudos and loving having her back. So those are the scenes where, the performances are great and you got to give them kudos. But I also noticed there were definitely some actors this week that were just going over the top, doing way too much, and it was great. Except, so one of the things, well, I don't know if it was great, but Willow in her scream was definitely over the top, doing too much. I'm like, ma'am, Emma Samms was just wet. You're just screaming over the fact you saw a wet woman in the boat room, like screaming bloody murder. And the reason she gave was, "Oh my God, I thought it was the hooker." And she didn't say the hooker, but the attacker. And I'm like, no, that's not a good enough reason. It was crazy, and everybody was thinking it was over the top. Victor, Charles Shaughnessy, his fake concern over Lucy, his like, "Oh my God, I don't know what happened. Anna, are you a possible suspect?" I mean, just like, it was beautiful, top notch, loved it. And always, I still don't believe Cyrus is saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Spirit. So I feel like he is just doing too much, but I love it. So, I mean, I'm going to give it to those three actors, Jeff Kober, Charles Shaughnessy, who's the actress that plays Willow? Katie.
Caitlin, yeah.
Over the topness, but I loved it. So thank you. So those were great.
Yeah. I love everything you said. I actually am not happy to have Esme back. I'm over it. Bye, girl.
What I noted about Esme is that, like, because right now she's just in scenes either with her fake, or the fake belly, aka her pregnancy, or with Nicholas, and I'm like, just keep her in scenes by herself. Those are her best scenes. Like, they're very watchable.
Mm-hmm.
I just skipped I did a little rewatch because I hadn't taken notes while I gotten out of the practice of taking notes while watching. And I was just like, oh, I can't watch these scenes with Margulis. I have, like, she's great. She's so good. I just can't watch them together. But I will say I am enjoying her being back to fuck up Nicholas Cassadine, the fake Nicholas Cassadine. Like, that's the only thing. I'm just like, escape, child. Escape and ruin this man and then go away.
Nicholas. Going along with Willow's fake scream was Michael running in with whatever he ran in with from the kitchen.
And kicking the door down. Like, he didn't even use the he just like kicked the door.
It was like a mallet or a meat hook or meat cleaver or something. Like, bro, I know that you've murdered before with like with a random object. And so maybe that's what you thought you were doing this time. But Michael, nobody's scared of you. Mm-hmm. Go have a seat. I'm more scared of Ned than you, actually.
Definitely.
Go sit down.
Yeah. I kind of want to also do a rewind back to the weeks that we didn't do anything. I think it was Tuesday, the 4th. It was when Valentine was kind of acting like a bouncer for Victor. For me, it was great comedy. When they were confronting Nicholas and telling Nicholas that he had to divorce Ava. It was hilarious to me how, he was just like being like the heavy, and it was funny. And I loved how Valentine knew everything, knowing about Michael's extracurricular activities, knowing Nicholas's secret. And it was just funny. And then it was also funny having Esme listen in the background and the scenes with calling Nicholas being a chump and then Esme's reveal. I mean, it was very juicy for me. So I just kind of want to do a rewind and say I love those scenes with all three of them.
I can't handle Esme like skulking around town in this fucking like black outfit and nobody can see her.
Right.
Because you're in a black hoodie does not mean you're invisible. Like it wasn't an invisibility cloak. What's going on here?
Especially in an outfit that a serial killer is known to have worn.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was looking, I was like, well, clearly we're trying to cover up a baby bump, but
right. Try to hide the fact that she's in town.
I'm glad that they didn't try to hide that for too long. Because I was all right, like let's get to it. Okay.
I'm also glad that we're really clear that this is Nicholas's baby. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no fake, is this Spencer? No. It is not.
One of my favorite lines of the week was just wait till you meet your brother Spencer.
That was funny.
It was like, I think to me, it was like the second best delivery of the week. The first best being Victor talking about Scott. Next time I throw him out of a plane, I will include a parachute. Kidding.
These vets are really living their best GH lives right now. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Sandra, what is working for you?
Speaking of, what's working for me is the Spy Games vet storyline. Some of the best characters on the show, definitely among the best actors, both the longtime GH vets and just everyone involved is just delightful and very skilled and trained. The return of devious, scheming Lucy is such a delight. Mm-hmm. Like finally, I feel like this is the first time since Lucy's been back since Port Charles that they really have written really well for her. Like they did give her that big kind of re-entry storyline with the vampires, and that was very amusing to me, but it wasn't like the best Lucy writing. And this is giving some like 90s Lucy, like let me use my my sexual prowess and my charm and my disarming, like, because like there's this thing about Lucy about her being underestimated, and that's usually like men's downfall. And so I loved when she was looking in the mirror and she was like, Lucy, oh, you still got it. And I was like, that's right, girl, you do, but you are in danger. And like keep doing this. Oh, and those shoes, just her looks too. Mm-hmm. Lovely. And then contrasting that with Anna's intensity. Anna's been so intense in this storyline and I've loved it. I was like, I can see the Scorpio in you, not the Robert Scorpio, but the Zodiac Scorpio. Thank you very much. And I love getting to see Anna play that gray area and tap into the darkness that we haven't always gotten to see from her. Anna in the last, so much of her storyline the last few years has been wrapped up in Peter, and there being a complication there, but it was about like her love for and her guilt and all this stuff. And this is very much a lot. It feels more complicated to me and I very much enjoy it. We already talked about Victor. My God, just a delight. Even though he's coming for my fave, and that's when the writing and the acting, the performances are all really on point. There's heightened drama and actual stakes. Mm-hmm. Like this is some soapy ass bullshit. And we love it. Like the campiness, the multiple characters kind of doing the most and kind of the wrong thing and making like all these kind of decisions that don't really make sense but do. And yeah, they're like actual stakes versus like in other parts of the show, like the crew storyline, for example, with the cemetery. I'm like, okay. Like Laura Wright, great acting. The I can't remember the actress that plays her.
Lucy Pearl.
Yes, she's great. Like I've enjoyed their performances, but like the story, I'm like, whatever. There's no stakes here. So this is a soap story here with the Spy Games, and I'm really interested to see how it ends up overlapping with the Hook storyline, because it feels like that's the direction that it's going in because of that, like Robert and Diane, those scenes, and it seems like they're trying to like bring those things together with like Holly showing up. Obviously has something to do with Victor because he was keeping her captive. She has memory loss.
And he hinted that, you know, I'm sure Anna and Robert are busy right now. So
right. So I'm
yeah.
very curious to see like where this all ends up coalescing.
A possible return of Alex.
Possible return of Alex.
Mm.
We'll see. I mean, I know like there's, you know, we'll very curious to see how they're gonna end up handling this like Anna wrongly accused thing, because I'm like immediately just like, why are we not just clear that it could be Alex? Like, who goes around murdering people more? Anna or Alex? More.
Yeah.
So, but for it's I'm having overall a great time with the storyline. So that's what's working for me.
Agreed. And I love what you said about Lucy, because and we also get to hear other people talk about Lucy in a positive way. That's like, oh no, she's resilient. You know she's gonna make it. She like hearing people affirm what we know about Lucy being a badass, I think is real, because she had been kind of played for like laughs. Like, you know, we had her like cheating on Kevin with Scott. Like, you know, we've had all these things with her. So having her be like affirmed for like a sexy badass who like has great instincts and who can like is a survivor is really, really, I think, special. A couple things working for me. I would say, I mean, 5 days of Anna Devane. Give it to me. Yes. And it's like so interesting. I was like thinking about this earlier about like being an Anna fan. It's because I met Anna on All My Children. I actually got a chance to tell Fanola that. And she was like very, very nice about it. And so like it's sometimes, especially with like Anna fans who are very welcoming and very nice. I had a lot of fun hanging out with people. It's almost like intimidating because people have been like, people know like Anna's outfits by like storyline. And so to say you're an Anna fan like requires almost like a level of like historian to you. And so I think, but it's also really exciting that she is like gaining this new fandom. So like you can be just as big an Anna fan if from like this storyline and seeing how she's moving now as you would have been if you would have seen her in 85, as you would have been if you would have seen her on All My Children, because she's just that consistently good and she makes everyone else around her good. So I've really enjoyed seeing her with Jordan, who I think is really finding her footing. She's even been like very funny with Anna. So when Anna like went past her, Jordan was like, wait a second, like Fanola is just like, she raises up everyone around her. And I think that's really special. I think that's really special. The Vanna goodbye, oh, my heart, it was so romantic. It was everything I needed from the two of them. Because I think that we've seen so many iterations of the Vanna relationship. It was like the enemies, but you know, Valentine can never really make Anna his enemy. To like the friendship and like the co-conspirator to the compatriot, to the like you know, all of that. And everything around them has been so crazy, but since they've like let the secrets go, they've been each other's like grounding forces. And so to see them be the grounding forces for each other, but have to let each other go, to Sandra, to your point of Valentine being like, I know this is stupid, but I gotta see my daughter. Um, and Anna just being like, it's clear that she loves him, but she's like, I mean, it was like part of like he doesn't deserve to hear it yet, but also I don't want him to, I don't want this to be our goodbye. So if I hold on to like I love you, it means he'll come back to get it. And I felt like all of that from her performance. So I really loved that. Um, and then the last thing I'll say is I think I really love that they're giving Epiphany a story. At first, I didn't care for like the whole MCAT of it all. I was like, where are they going with this? But the last time we really saw a story for Epiphany was on Night Shift. Um, so to see the story for her, to see like her being held up. I know a lot of times when people talk about diversity or the diversity of the conversation is really about like Sprina or Trina and how she's treated versus like other white young actresses. But to have like this like dark skinned, full figured, like older woman being like centered, being like desired by Hat Daddy, being like changing career, being at the top of her game, and then having like the Black people on the show like really be in community with each other. I don't know if that was like planned, but everyone is like supportive of each other. So like Portia and TJ support Epiphany. Everyone supports Trina no matter what. Even though it didn't make any sense, like Jordan is supporting Stella, and like not allowing that. She's like, okay, look, me and Curtis aren't together, and y'all need to be in a good relationship, so I'll take that. I've just thought I've really enjoyed like watching the Black people on General Hospital be in community with each other. So check. What about you, Tanya?
I kind of want to agree with you on, I think you talked about it briefly, but I'm actually liking the story of Nina and Willow in TJ's business. One, because it reminds us that Nina is sketchy as hell. I mean, not that we need that reminder because they keep throwing, you know, Sona in our face all the time. And I, of course, I don't know about Sunny, but I will never forget that what she did. But bringing in this new element of her deviousness and her, you know, just sketchiness is great. And I like that reminder for the community that Nina is not a saint. She's trying to get her, she's saying she's trying to be better and trying to be a better person, but she really isn't, because it's none of her business what Willow and TJ are doing. Willow made her feelings very clear that she wants to have nothing to do with her, and yet she still feels the need to be all up in Willow's business. I also love the fact that this gives TJ an opportunity, like we said, to show his spiciness. I mean, his attitude towards her was great. Telling her, you know, you need to refer to me as doctor. Why are you in my business? You know, all of that. Love it. So I actually like this, you know, little interlude and giving TJ more an opportunity to interact with other people outside of his family, and having a storyline outside of that is great. And then I love Livia still hating Nina. Just, you know, reminding her that, you know, because I think everyone else is seemingly trying to get over the fact of what she did with Sunny, but she's reminding her, no, you took Sunny away. It hurt me. It hurt my children. And it hurt my best friend, Carly. I'm not going to forgive you for that. You may be doing a good job with the hotel, but it doesn't mean I want to work with you. So let's put it out of our misery and just, you know, let me buy it out from you. I love that. I love that energy. She keeps coming for her. I appreciate it. Thank you, Olivia. So that's some of the things that I'm really loving this week. Now, Tracy, what is not working for you?
That is not working for me. So as much as I love Cyrus and Spencer scenes, get my child out of jail.
Yes.
I don't want this. And like actually not having Sprina interact does not work for me. I'm actually fine with them not being a couple yet. I really enjoy the angst, I enjoy the build, but in order to have angst and build, it's not about them talking about each other to other people, it's about them actually being around each other. So like it's clear to me that like Rory, they're not building him up to do anything. So why do I have to see Trina look miserable about going out of town with him? Like that's what Spencer should see. And he should see it because he's in jail, because he's working at the art gallery with her. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like there's like a waste of time and a waste of like angst to not have them apart, or to have them apart. Yeah, the point is clearly that like Spencer should be jealous, but it should be like not because he's incarcerated, but like it's that he should be jealous because he's like seeing Trina off with somebody else, and then we should be seeing her kind of like look over at him like, damn, I'd rather be over there. So this like separation is really not working for me, and the idea of Spencer being in jail is not working for me. I think that the show does this thing where they like establish realities about like locations, about characters, about whatever. And then when it isn't convenient for the plot, they just forget it. So like we've established that like Sunny doesn't have, we've established over time that Sunny doesn't have or can't protect someone at all times in Pentonville. So why has nobody but Victor gone to see Spencer? Like, why has Sunny not gone to put eyes on him to make sure? Because he doesn't have a backup. He doesn't have Jason. Like Dex hasn't checked in on Spencer. You're his uncle. Why have you not done anything? Like we have established that Pentonville is dangerous. We've established that you can't have eyes everywhere. Even when you were incarcerated, you couldn't have eyes everywhere, Sunny. So why haven't you done this for Spencer? So the not having Sprina and the Spencer being incarcerated, not working for me. I hate it. What about y'all?
I want to just piggyback on that. I want everyone, other people, to see that Trina's not happy with Rory. So, like, I want it to be noticed that, girl, are you sure you were in the right relationship? I mean, like, he's a nice guy, but you do not look excited at all.
You look miserable.
You look miserable. And so for her to be miserable in the hallway of the police station, no, I didn't like that. That was too weird.
Yeah. Sandra, your face is killing me. Please, what is on your mind?
Well, I will say the other reality that's been established is that Sunny's not shit. So
that's true. You're right. You're right.
I was like, let's not expect anything from Sunny.
You're right. Damn. You're right. What's not working for y'all?
Really like team free Spencer and free Cyrus. Not because he deserves it, but because it's more entertaining to me. And that's what I care about.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I want more Spencer and Cyrus scenes. And if Spencer must be freed, then so must Cyrus. I'm ready to see his wild ass running around town, looking delighted that everyone hates him. And I'm ready for my Trina and Cyrus, like, with my Tabiana Trina throwing down. I can't wait. What's not working for me, is it my turn to talk about what's not working for me? Ava hung up on Nicholas.
Preach.
Right.
Sunday. Preach.
Keep it moving. Like, she's suffered enough.
And so
she has
we.
suffered enough for years in this marriage alone, but even in the lead up to this marriage, suffering. So if she must suffer, let it be a different kind of suffering. I'm tired of this. If Ava must suffer, please do it via Viva. I appreciated the "he's hardly your equal" line.
Yeah, it looks like they're hinting towards that. So let's move full.
Let's keep it moving.
Right.
Let's keep it moving in that direction. Like, if I get it, Ava's not the kind of character that you're going to give like the fairy tale romance to. I don't need that for her. If she must suffer in a relationship, let it be with an actor of more or less caliber. It's too much. I mean, if it's too hard to watch a young actor and relatively less experienced but very talented actor like Avery Pohl, to watch her in scenes with that other actor who I'm not even going to talk about, it's so much harder with someone like Maura West. And I you know, when we talk about this all the time, but it's time to keep it moving. It's just not realistic. Like, a weather machine makes more sense to me than her continuing after all this. It's very undignified. It's very undignified. But I did enjoy the Viva hints. I was like, don't toy with me. I've been asking for this for a year. Give it to me now. So I expect to be swept very soon because we're about to enter into sweeps. So give me a Viva sweep. Give me a Nicholas Cassadine is a fake and also dead. Yes. Give it to me. I was really hoping, I knew this wouldn't happen, but I was really hoping to come back to the podcast and he died while I was gone, but alas. I mean, really, like, at first I was like, Tracy, you know, like, Sprina can't kiss while I'm gone. I'll have to pop back up. But I was like, I know Sprina won't kiss, but maybe they'll kill Nicholas. Those were my, and neither thing happened, but the groundwork has been laid. All y'all have to do is pull the trigger.
Literally.
Yeah, I mean, they even
look, whatever. I don't care how you kill him, just kill him.
No, they've written a reason. You know, Victor said divorce Ava, and Nicholas is like, no. So Victor, go ahead and kill him and take her for yourself.
And there's all the drama with Ava, or with Ava still being Spencer's
guardian
or in charge of his money, and then the baby, the demon baby, Spencer's soon to be sibling. Oh, what a mess.
And even though we don't fuck with J.K. Rowling, I did have to make a Harry Potter reference with Esme. She's like, you don't know who my father is. I was like, okay, Draco.
Okay. My father knows who I am, where I am. It was like,
Nicholas, he's so stupid.
I was like,
Nicholas is so stupid. He's like, you never talked about a father? Get out of here.
I can't have one. Go away.
You just look so stupid. I'm tired of it.
So silly. Silly.
So what doesn't work for me is always on the list. And you had said, yay, we could see Anna 5 days. I was like, boo, we get to see Cody 3 days. And I was like, what the hell? Why? I did not need to see him on the screen. He is never going to work. He is not working, never will. Never, never. Why? And Scotty, you know, he was right. Cody is bad news, and I don't want anything to do with him. So, and I think, you know, I was expecting Britt to be gone by now, just because, I mean, she, like, the actress has already started on Station 19, and she's been on several episodes, so I thought that something was going to happen where Britt was going to be gone, and then Cody could be gone, but I guess they're really trying to make him Max's son, and so just trying to create relevance for him, and I don't like it. I don't want to see it. So there. And then also agree with SOD's thumbs down we've already talked about this, but thumbs down about Liz's story not working and all being all about Finn, and I don't like that. And and then you guys talked about how Trina doesn't want to go to Comic-Con with Corey. I don't want to go with him either. He sounds like a boring companion, and I want to go with him. So I don't blame you, Trina. Doesn't sound exciting.
That's like an awful first weekend away.
Right.
This is gonna be your overnight trip to go to a regional Comic-Con? A regional Comic-Con? Not even like the Comic-Con?
Well, I mean, they're in the New York City area, so it's bound to be actually really great, but still.
They didn't say they were going to New York Comic-Con.
Oh, they're gonna go what?
A regional thing.
They're going to Beecher's Corners Comic-Con.
I hope they don't actually show us any scenes, please.
Hot Tuck Comic-Con.
Hot Tuck Comic-Con.
He would.
Ew.
Just kill him. Put everybody out of their misery. It's rough. Well, I did see that he is on recurring. So he was originally contracted. Now he's recurring. So
yeah, that's been going around social media. So folks are excited about that.
I have so much muted on social media. I only saw it because someone DM'd it to me.
Oh.
I am not but on Twitter. I have no idea. I would have no way of knowing.
It's really for the best. And I just have to apologize if I take anyone's joke on Twitter because I didn't mean to, because I can't see it. I can't see what you say. And I apologize for that in advance.
Yep. I didn't see it.
I saw that like on Instagram that they had called Crew a super couple, and I was like, nope. And I went and like muted every version of super couple that I possibly could on Twitter. It was like super couple together, super couple, like not two words, super couples. Like I was just like, I don't want to see it. I actually ended up muting the GH hashtag because it was like it was so extra. I was like, I'm good here, actually. Thank you.
They were very extra about the whole Florida thing, though.
I was like, y'all, I mean, listen, I didn't know we had so many travelers. Would you have imagined? So people were mad that the beach was like clearly not a Florida beach because Florida beaches don't have like cliffs or something. I would have no way of knowing. I don't think I've ever been to a Florida beach.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I've never been to a Florida beach, so I wouldn't have known. But also, would you have preferred they flew Cameron and Laura to Florida? Can you imagine? Like, people are already mad they did anything for them. So can you imagine if they were like, we need that real beach feel, we need that Florida beach feel. We want Laura to have warm water between her toes. So, like,
yikes. I mean, I didn't enjoy the Florida storyline. So I couldn't have possibly watched it with that level of detail. I didn't hate it, but I was kind of like, no stakes. Yeah. And so sometimes I would space out a little bit during it, or like not quite pick up on all the details. That's what I do when I don't like a storyline. I just don't pay attention to it.
Yeah, if we
want, so I'm not like, let me comb through this scene to find the details that don't work for me. But whatever, everyone has their own style.
I mean, if we want to go into free-for-all hot takes, I had a couple. I was more concerned about the fact that they were walking around barefoot on the beach, because I'm not a barefoot in an outdoors type person, but I do go to the beach. I do walk around the beach with, in the sand, but they were on cliffs, which were rocky and probably really hot. And they're just walking around with no shoes on, no flip-flops, no nothing. That bothered me. And then, because again, the scene didn't do anything for me. So I was looking at other things. And then I also noticed that they had some really good sound because it was clearly very windy and you couldn't hear the wind. Now, if you've recorded anything outside in the wind is messing up the sound a lot. And I was just noticing, I was like, you can't hear any wind. You see her going all this all the time, but there's no wind. So I was like, kudos to the sound people. That's what I noticed.
Yeah, I
Sad.
didn't. I mean, I like Cruise, so like it's a little different for me. I didn't hate the storyline. I didn't like
Right.
it. I didn't think it was good, but I
Mhm.
wasn't like offended by it, and I understood like the utility of it in the moment. Like to get Carly like past all of this shame and to like reset her life, and people were like calling it Carly's Nixon Falls, and I was like, well, clearly people didn't
No,
watch Nixon Falls the way I did because it's not the same story.
that's not
Um,
her.
It
it's
just
not
took place in a different location.
Right.
Like, that's it. That wasn't more terrible.
like it just no.
It for me, it was Carly's Bold and the Beautiful, because Bold and the Beautiful do that.
Oh,
They be flying these actors to different locations so they can find love or have a big romantic moment all the time. Every single one of them. They're in Italy or they're in Monaco or whatever, and all of a sudden they're discovering they're in love with someone. That's what Carly had. She had a Bold and the Beautiful moment.
mm. I wish that GH did a little bit more with relationship, because I mean a lot more with relationship, because what I would have actually liked to see in that story would have been more Bobby
Mm-hmm.
and less Drew.
Yeah.
I'm fine with like how it ended, and like obviously like Drew being there for her, and like that was like the point of them of like pushing them closer together. But when Bobby showed up, I love seeing Bobby always, anytime. And like I think that there could have been more to work out with like this complicated relationship Carly had with Virginia and the complicated relationship that she had with Bobby, and being supported that way. I would have liked to see that more.
Agreed. I liked the diving back into Carly's history and the Jacksonville piece. Like I actually liked the setting and that part of the story. I didn't like I didn't mind Drew being there, but I was kind of like, this is not very romantic. Mostly like, I'm like, if I went for a destination setting, like I want like glamour, adventure, excitement, not like going to like fake city council meetings. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it wasn't it. One
Like,
detail about it that I didn't like, that I'm this is like on the Tanya level of detail. Like that the restaurant and the hotel rooms had the same wallpaper. That's a no. That would never happen. That would never happen. You would never put the same wallpaper in your hotel restaurant as you would in the rooms.
Well, all I know about Jacksonville is Jason Mendoza from The Good Place. And so maybe you would, based on what Jason has told us about Jacksonville.
This was a much classier take on Jacksonville than where Jason Mendoza was not hanging out at the same hotel. But he might have been hanging out at the cemetery, doing flash mobs.
Yes. Yeah, it was fine. I mean, it was like very Parks and Rec meets like whatever.
And again, it wasn't offensive. I wasn't like, oh, here we go, or God damn it, I can't believe they're doing this. It was more just like a, huh.
It was a very sedate Parks and Rec because only Carly had a comment. You go to any city council meeting in Oakland or anywhere, everybody's yelling at city council, and those are some quiet audience members. I just have to say. They didn't say anything.
I will say the one thing that I really did like was the piece around the shame, the letting go of shame, and the really clear, like, this was not her fault.
Yeah.
That everyone reiterated that, and at the end, the mom, Reese's mom, also
Bitch,
and I cut. Yes. What a silly name. So I liked that. I thought that was like important cultural moment, because we do apparently people are really in to thinking that you can have consensual sex with teenagers, and you cannot.
And I think that would have, and then I'll end it here, my comments on here. I think that would have been another place to include Bobby. I don't know if you were still recording. I think maybe you had been gone, Sandra. We were talking about how this felt like a pickup from when we were having that conversation on Twitter about consent, about teenagers, about like how you can't be a teenage sex worker and shamed, or like how you shouldn't be shamed for that. I think that could have been another connection between Bobby and Carly, and like diving a little bit into Bobby's story and like recorrecting that record as well. But it definitely, there are things that are happening on GH that have made it really clear to me that they're listening to audience concern.
Well, you're welcome for the free consultation, Frank. I'm still waiting for my text.
Great.
Sponsor my invoice. Thank you.
So we were doing kind of round robin in the past couple of weeks of hot takes. If you want to do that.
Yeah, go ahead, Sandra.
So what does that mean? We each do one, or what do we, okay. I don't really know that I have that many left.
I don't have a lot either.
I threw them out. Well, Maura West looks stunning in green. I was like, that's it. I just felt stunned by her beauty and all her scenes. And I don't usually see her in that color. And I would like to see her in that color more. Thank you. Thank you, costume department. See, I'm being very affirming today.
You are. Let me come in with my negativity. Sunny, your girl is annoying. Quit meandering around the Metro Court and like asking why people don't like her. It's like she gets into it with Olivia. He's like, "What's going on here?" What you mean, what's going on? Olivia don't like her. That's what's gonna happen. Or, oh, I see you're into it with TJ. I've known him since he's a teenager. Yeah, your girl's annoying. People don't like her. Sunny, don't you have some work to do? Go to your office, anything. Get out of the Metro Court, walking around, giving advice, getting all up in Nina's business. Annoying. Your girl's annoying. You're annoying. Period.
I forgot he was even on this week.
And he was on so much.
Yeah. He's going around trying to threaten people into liking Nina. It's getting old. He needs to stop. No one likes her.
I think it's like, I just see him doing the same thing he does every week. So my brain just turns off and I was like, oh, okay.
I wrote for Wednesday. I don't necessarily like Diane and Robert kind of flirting with each other just because I don't like Robert being the DA and all that. But I find them a lot more interesting than Alexis and Finn's dad. 100%. 100% more interesting. So, yeah, anything to get Alexis off the screen, it's fine. Stay here, daughter.
I went right back to that.
Coming back. Yeah, I Diane and Robert work for me.
Not for me, but I hear you.
Way more than like any of the other people they've like kind of toyed around pairing Robert with. Like, obviously, I was not here for Robert and Olivia. Yikes. I mean, I was for Ned and Olivia breaking up.
Yeah.
Not like, stop putting Olivia with these old men. Put her with someone young and hot, okay? And so I like that. I mean, okay, here's what I know about Carolyn Hennessy. I know two things. I hate her politics. She can act her ass off. Those are the two things I know about Carolyn Hennessy.
You also know she was on Dawson's Creek. That's three things.
She played herself on Dawson's Creek.
And she was on Hey Jessie in the Disney Channel.
See, I did not know that, so I can't put that on my list. Now I do know that, but I don't know what that is. But I like their rapport. it feels like, sometimes when you're watching Tristan, you're like, what are we doing here? And this time, when he's with Carolyn, he's like, I'm like, oh, we got a live one here.
Right.
Like she can work with Tristan, brings out things for him. So I like seeing this other side of Diane. That's different than when she was with Max. That was kind of played a little bit more for laughs, and it was like a lot about how her being much more powerful than him, which I'm into too. But this was a little bit more of her being with someone who's more of an equal. So it would be kind of cool to see Diane like cut it up, get on a little spy mission, whatever. It works for me. Yeah. And I agree. So, oh my God, Alexis and Gregory compared to Diane and Robert, please don't give us any of those double dates. Thank you.
No, I wanted Diane to die via hook, so whatever.
I didn't want Diane to die, but yeah.
I'm just saying, if we're gonna have a serial killer, serial kill. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're 2 for 4? What kind of loser are you? Anyway, I was gonna say I do not like what they're doing with BLQ and Chase. First of all, I need Chase to stop salivating over being a fucking cop. I'm over it. And then also, like, BLQ, they try to do this thing with her, like, she's a schemer. Oh my God, look at her. And actually, Chalin has been through enough that they can actually be kind of happy. And I know that GH doesn't know how to write couples happy, but they could do something else that's not this. There's also like something, the way they tried to write Brooklyn before is they tried to like write her as a schemer with like a heart of gold. And if you're gonna do that, you need to establish that closer up front. So I wouldn't be opposed, and this is again about relationship, because I really like the Maxie and Sasha scenes and like them bonding. I actually really like that. For BLQ to like look at them and be like, they've lost husbands. I don't want to lose Chase as a cop. So therefore I'm going to do this like really selfish thing, but it's about me like not wanting to lose him. Like for me, that would be more of an appealing story, but like I'm going to be shady and delete emails because I want him to be a singing sensation. Please end it. Get us out of all of our misery. Tired of it, hate it. Go manage Cameron. I've had enough. It's boring.
I feel a little differently. I like that this is one of the reasons why. I'm glad it's not about her losing him, because I feel like that's like a story that happens a lot of like, I'm scared of losing you because of your line of work, especially between like when it's a man in the line of danger. So that's boring. I do like she's doing it for selfish reasons. And what would make it better if it was for ACAB reasons too.
Yes, I would actually love that.
And she was like, babe, I'm trying to raise your consciousness, and I'm trying to raise your consciousness, and I'm trying to raise some money for me and you to have a good time. Okay, so this is for your own good. I would just like for her to just own it. Just really lean into her villain era, which to me would make her a hero.
Look at this. Look at how conversation flips people. Because I'm like, you know what? Yes. If Brooklyn was like, I actually don't fuck with cops and I don't want my man to be a cop, I would love that too. And also, like, if I actually thought that Chase could be a rock star, like, Chase sounds fine for the karaoke bar.
Yeah.
Like,
for the white karaoke bar.
The white karaoke bar.
Not the Asian karaoke bar, okay?
No, he would get laughed out. But I have been to the Asian karaoke bar and I've seen it not be kind to people. So like the bar, I'm like, That's why I always just rap. I do shoot by Salt and Pepper. Anyway, not important. Um,
Very important.
but it's like he's not good enough to be for me to pretend like the story makes sense, especially to the point of that we saw Cameron, like William, come through and bring his band and was actually really good. Like, this is ridiculous.
We'll say it over and over and over again. The only band that should be playing, or the only act that Brooklyn should be worried about, is Cameron. She should be stalking him, trying to sign him. That's a great story for Cam.
We'll love it.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do it over the summer. They'll steal it for over the summer.
Okay.
Because William doesn't have like time, probably. He's like, listen, I'm doing real things. Me in the summertime. Okay.
Well, oh my God. Part of what you missed on social media was people being so mad about Joss and Dex. Oh my God. Like, they're so mad because they're like, what about
Me too.
Cameron?
I am mad too, but not for the reasons that they are.
They're like, what about Cameron? What about him?
Be fine.
This is the same like social media that wanted Cameron to cheat on Joss with Esme. I did too. And nobody was wondering about what was going to happen to Joss. Like, that was not the common refrain of like, well, what's going to happen to Joss when Cameron cheats on her? So why am I concerned about what's going to happen to Cameron? People really have acted like Joss has like torn Dex's clothes off. It just goes to his apartment to sleep with him.
Well, isn't that what dumpster diving is for young white people?
I made a comment about that too, because I was not about Joss, but I was just in my hot takes. I was like, Dex, you're supposed to be staying away from Joss, and yet you're letting her into your apartment with your shirt not on. That's not staying away, or that's not keeping Joss away. You know, she's a young woman who's hot for something, and you just walking around without your shirt and being all the romantic anti-hero is not gonna push her away. So he's not doing a good job.
Yeah.
It's obvious.
This was on my notes from last week. It was like a really interesting, like, there was just like this talk about Joss that was kind of gross. It was like, if she wants to be like a slut for Dex, I was like, Joss literally went to this man's house and buttoned up his shirt
because he didn't know how, apparently.
Like,
but it was a very sexy.
Sure.
like, ooh.
People have literally behaved anytime that Joss and Dex are on, or that she goes to see him, as if like she has literally gone to his house, banged him, and left. Like, it's just like this very weird, and it's fine. People can feel how they feel, but I just can't engage in conversation. Like, you just don't like her. And that's cool. Like, say that there's nothing that Joss or Carly or whoever can do that will make me like them. I'm always going to hate them. I understand that. There's nothing that Nina can do. I'm always going to hate Nina. I'm always going to laugh when Nina gets yelled at. I'm always going to wish the worst for her. It's not enough to prey on Nina's downfall. I want to participate. I get it. Like, so if that's how you feel about, and then that means that if I say something about Nina, it should be taken in that vein.
But you're also not like, I think it's almost a little slut shaming of Joss. No. You're not doing that.
I would never slut shame anyone.
Yeah, you're not doing that to Nina. You're disliking her for her character being crazy.
Awful.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I would never slut shame.
Actually, we admire how Nina dresses in a sexy way.
I wish she would be sluttier, to be honest. Honestly, if Joss was doing the things that people felt like she was doing, I might like the storyline more.
Right?
Like, if it's gonna be straight, at least let it be slutty. God.
Is that your new mantra?
Yes.
Be straight.
It better be slutty.
Like, they're hating her for something she's not doing and she should be doing.
Yeah.
Yes. Cheat on Cameron. Go in, bang Dex if that's what you want to do. Do it.
Do it, girl.
I mean, still aside from like Esme, this is still a pretty vanilla teen scene or like young adult scene.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't, like, nobody is like a villain, like nobody is. I get confused. I'm just like, I.
And they're college students. College students have sex on the regular all the time when they have a free moment and they're not studying. So
Yeah.
And with the original core 3, I mean, basically only 2 of them have had sex, as we're, you know, I'm assuming we've retconned Trina's virginity. So, and they've only done it once and they were horribly punished for it and traumatized.
Yeah.
So yes, I want Jocelyn to be slutty.
I was, and like, there's
celebrated
also,
for it.
And there's also something that is like, and I think that because that storyline turned very quickly into being about Trina, like it wasn't about, like, they had their little moment of like, this was traumatic for these other 2 characters, but then we like immediately pivoted into the trial. There was something that people, I think, forgot, or it just wasn't highlighted that this was traumatic. And so that trauma should actually be a part of Joss's story and the things that she works through. And part of that could be, when I look at Cameron, or when I see Cameron, or when I think about being intimate with Cameron, this is happening, versus when I look over here, this feels safer. Like, that is part of the story. And so to like act as if she is evil for even looking at someone else, it's just like it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, I only have mean things left to say. Maybe I'll just keep it at that.
No, say them, please. Give me one at least.
I'll give you one. I'm trying to keep it more positive. I think someone may have given Marcus the note to act more dignified and princely. Like when he was trying, he had that scene when he was like talking with the contractor or whatever about fixing, you know, leaving the North Wing alone, which is where he's keeping a teenage girl imprisoned. You, like princes do. Honestly, they do. And like you could see he was like, I'm trying to do business. I'm a prince. It just wasn't giving. So I can see that you received the note and that you tried to implement it. It did not quite give, but I saw something. So I saw something.
Okay. That was nice of you.
That's all I got for that. Something. Yeah.
Something. I have a uplifting one. I'm noticing that GH a lot, and ABC, because I also noticed something on Grey's Anatomy, that they are inserting pop culture in their dialogue. So shout out to Olivia with her Game of Thrones reference, where she was talking about the Quartermaines. She said, been a part of this family long enough to know that there's enough backstabbing and lying to make the Starks and the Lannisters think it's over the top. I was like, ah! And then on Grey's Anatomy, actually last week, Bailey used a Star Wars reference. She was talking about how she was liking Delta Source, which is in the early years of the New Republic. So I love that. So I was like, ABC stays cross-promoting Star Wars, and I'm here for it. But I also like that they're, you know, talking about other shows that are very popular. So GH trying to be young and hip.
Bailey uses Star Wars references.
That was over years ago.
Well, I mean, House of Dragons is bringing up Game of Thrones a lot, so I was like, okay, I see they're trying to do,
Yeah, Bailey has Star Wars references all the time, and they are both referencing TikTok.
Yeah. Oh yeah, with the class. So love that.
Mhm.
And Anna said something to Lucy about this not being a TikTok challenge.
I loved on Grey's their like the whole process where they're like, we're just gonna get the young people, we're gonna write them a script, and then they're gonna do the TikTok thing. And I was like, this happens in every organization I have ever seen.
We're gonna go viral.
And it doesn't end up like it does at the end where they actually go viral. It just stops before they get to that other part. Because I'll tell you right now, a bunch of like fucking med students do not have the time to be like on TikTok like that. And to like suddenly like just overnight make your hospital a TikTok sensation. But hardly the most unrealistic part of Grey's Anatomy. But I will say that beginning part, I was like, you're triggering me. I've just been a part of so many conversations where like, well, we'll just get a young person on social media. No.
And they'll make it go viral.
What are the steps to that?
Step one, do it. Step two, go viral.
Be young.
Be young.
I'm like, you think I'm young and I am middle-aged. Let's keep it moving.
Yikes. I was gonna say when I didn't like when Sunny brought a blood relation when talking about Michael, and I hope that that is not something that we're gonna use going forward. So it was like he was at dinner with Dante and Christina. Dante had to leave. And then Christina said something about Michael, and he was like, well, we're not blood related, but he's like the most like me, and he's like the first kid I raised. I really hope that as like the Michael, Sunny, whatever happens, that like we are not bringing blood relation into this, because that's gross and I don't like it. Michael is Sunny's kid. You put his dad on a meat hook to get him. For better or for worse, that's your damn kid. Sorry, Sunny.
Yeah, that's his kid. I don't like either one of them.
And part of what makes Michael so unlikable is the parts that are like Sunny.
I have one more thing. I actually am another thing. One of my favorite scenes was with Dante and Christina. I'm loving their sibling banter a lot. It just definitely humanizes that relationship. So love it.
Yep. I think that Christina just has chemistry with everyone too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's very good. I can't think of anyone who she's in scenes with that I'm like, oh, they just don't connect.
Yeah, Lexi's great.
Please don't put her in a love triangle with Dex and Jocelyn. That would be supremely weird. And highlight the weird age differences.
And I don't think that that's what's happening. I think it's one of those things on social media where people like create these worlds and then get mad when the world doesn't happen. Like, nobody said Christina and Dex were going to be together.
Well, I just assumed it was going to happen because I don't want it. So.
No, they're like
together. I think that it does feel a little bit like they're setting up a little something. Because they also just love to like, but they could just set it up and leave it dangling, because that's what they like to do with Christina. So
yeah.
We all know how I feel about who Christina should be paired with.
I do know. I have two more things. Another Sunny thing, so apologies for that. I think I was just on my Sunny hate train. Sunny's instincts are so off when it comes to Dex, and it makes me even more mad that he was like shit talking Carly about her business sense when she lost the Metro Court. Sonny was like, I can't believe Carly did that, blah, blah. You know, like, even though Carly was the reason that Sonny had a business to come back to, how it's just like too many Jason references that happened last week and too much of Sonny being stupid. So that's one thing. And then, Sandra, did you have anything else?
Just gratitude that my brain didn't acknowledge any of those things.
And then also, Martin, bruh, back up off my girl Anna.
Silly.
Like, even my tad, like, adoration and my Michael E. Knight love, I was like, Martin, no. And that's it. That's all I got.
Well, I just thought that drone video was just so. That was another thing that if that's a character, that was very much over the top. Because I was just like crazy.
Just like, and when did the ADA have like cause to come up in a police station and try to like direct the investigation? Ma'am, why don't you go try to like falsely accuse some more teenagers?
They were like, we know who to bring into this storyline to be the bad guy. This bitch that everyone hates.
Right.
Yes. And they're right. You went after Trina.
You
and
are
now
our sacrificial lamb, ma'am.
You went after Trina, and now you're going after Anna?
Another beloved character. So we're going to need you to come on down. I'm sure Michael E. Knight got that script and was like, this is what you brought me back for? Fuck. I guess someone has to do it. I guess someone has to look like the silly asshole. I guess it's going to be me.
I was like, maybe there's some kind of plan.
Like, thoughts and prayers, friend. Thoughts and prayers.
I'm like, maybe there's some kind of plan with Martin. Maybe this is just a joke. I don't know. I don't like it. Sandra, why don't you preview the week ahead for us?
Okay, well, I'm just going to go day by day because all the storylines are overlapping. On Monday, Jordan makes a tough decision. Victor is triumphant. Sasha gets news about her legal situation. I have a feeling it's not going to be good. Because when has anything good ever happened to Sasha? Carly and Drew look to the future. Holly is stunned. Tuesday, Cody and Britt make a discovery. They discovered no one cares about their storyline. Liz and Terry go on a journey. Jocelyn runs into Dex. And they have sex in front of Cameron. And they say, fuck you, Cameron.
And then Dex starts playing his guitar.
Oh no. We so wrong.
So you all can figure out which part of that was the real spoiler and which part of it was fake. Victor makes an unexpected revelation. And Nina is eager to know about Ava's intentions. I intend, Nina, for you to give Ava back her penthouse. Wednesday, Britt has a request from Sam. Victor reveals his next move. Felicia catches up with a friend. And Cody opens up with Dante. God, there's a lot of stuff I don't care about. Okay.
Cody still.
Thursday, Spencer receives from friendly visitors. It's about goddamn time. I don't like seeing my child sad in jail.
Like only sad on the outside.
Yes, I like to see him sad, unincarcerated. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Nina faces Victor.
Killer.
I was that meme. Mac and Felicia run into Dante and Sam. Brooklyn and Chase focus on romance, aka they finally fuck. I don't know if that happens on Thursday, but that happens this week. And Trina gets distracted, hopefully by a call from Spencer, because that's supposed to happen this week too, I believe.
I thought it was happening last week, but
No, I think it's this week.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the week of the 24th, and that is this week. On Friday, Carly makes a huge decision. Will it be? We'll see. Hopefully it'll be her change her name. Willow gets a health update. It turns out when you don't treat your cancer, you get more cancer, is what I think the update is going to be. Olivia gets an unkind surprise. Terry makes a distraction. And Cameron gives Finn insight into Liz. Cameron Weber, get it together. This is why Joss is cheating on you.
In front of you.
In front of you. And letting Dex play your guitar. You had the correct energy from Finn before. Let's go back to that. And that's the week ahead.
I hope that Carly changes her last name to Spencer.
Ooh, I like that.
I like that too.
Yeah. Maybe she could then pretend like she should care about my child, Spencer, since that's Courtney's kid.
Mm-hmm.
Are there no Holly spoilers?
Yeah,
yeah. Felicia.
Holly is stunned.
Yeah. She's stunned?
I said Holly is stunned on Monday.
Yeah, and then Felicia's catching up with a friend, so I'm assuming it's Holly.
Are they friends? Okay.
I don't know. I assumed. I didn't know.
I thought maybe she'd be catching up with Anna in lockup.
Ooh.
Yikes.
That's a thing that's going to happen this week too.
Oh.
Hate it. What I know about Holly is that she's the reason that Sam's brother is dead. But she's also the reason that Courtney is dead. So
complexity.
It is. Yeah. Well, what a week.
It was a week.
A week occurred.
Y'all, I'm so excited and glad that we got back together and talked GH. I want to ask y'all one question before we close out, because I wanted to have a super couple conversation. I wanted to talk about it just because I remember when they put up the thing. So, like, obviously Cameron and Laura Wright were like on Entertainment Tonight, and they put up like the reel on GH, and we're like, the next super couple. And I laughed when I saw it. I was like, who's not a super couple? Ha ha ha. And I was like, oh, I bet you I'm the only person who will have that energy. That's just laughing. So yeah, just like really quickly wanted to like talk about what a super couple actually is. And I have a hot take. The only current super couple that we have is Mac and Felicia. Because super couples in soaps are couples who like have current, like on the screen now, are people who have like broken up, made up, have had like epic love stories, have gone through a bunch of stuff. You actually need to be a couple to be a super couple. And you actually need to have like broken up, made up, and like faced possibly insurmountable odds and gotten together. So one of the things I said in the spaces was, as much as I as a J-Sam fan, as much as I hated Liaison, what made J-Sam a super couple was Sexico. because that was them breaking up and getting back together. So anyway, just wanted to hear your thoughts about super couples and if you have any favorites. Both of y'all faces.
On GH?
Or across the soap genre.
Yeah, I agree that I don't think Drew or Crew are super couple status.
No.
And
after that, as a Crew fan.
Yeah.
And absolutely not.
Right.
I don't know what it would mean to have a super couple in 2022, to be honest. Because I think super couple, it's not just about what's happening on screen, but also like what's unfolding from like a pop culture standpoint.
Oh.
Yeah.
Come through, literary.
Yeah, I feel like part of like a super couple is like being recognizable outside of soaps.
Yeah.
And, like impacting mainstream culture. So that's why also like, so when you said Mac and Felicia, I was like, I don't even know. I wouldn't say Mac and Felicia, or to me, I don't think of them as a super couple. Because they're also kind of eclipsed by
Felicia and
Frisco. And since they could, and I actually prefer Mac and Felicia, but as far as like the impact on like the mark left on pop culture and the show, like people like my parents, they don't say, I'll remember Mac and Felicia. They like reminisce about Frisco and Felicia.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I don't know. I would say with that, there's like no super couples on the show. And I don't really know. It's like what super couples even still exist. I would say like John and Marlena on Days. Is
Victor and Nikki on Young and the Restless.
Yeah, I know who they are, even though I don't watch that show.
Yeah.
I kind of know who they are.
I mean, they didn't have like the same kind of I mean, everybody knows who they are, but they didn't have like this whole big pop cultural thing or drama that happened with them. Maybe back in the day when they were first getting together, and Victor rescued Nikki from being a pro, but I mean, they just the longevity and the strife they constantly go through. It's history, and so they would be a super couple status, off and on, off and on, off and on. Many last names with Nikki Newman. So
yeah, I think also if you were to take the pop culture impact out of it, because if we were just to say like, oh well, we can't do that, can't be a measure for soap operas in 2022, which is fair. I don't think it's like there's so much competition for people's attention. There has to be like an epicness to the way they get together, the way that they break up, like the way that they interact with each other, and like the kinds of stakes in their story. And I think maybe with Mac and Felicia, had they done Felicia back on the show differently, it could have been different, but they haven't been epic in a long time.
Right. Yeah, Tara likes to say it's like more so than anything, it's like a writing style. And so like, yeah, if like, I mean, not that I want this, I'm like fully into Vanna, but like if Robert and Anna got back together, like that's a super couple. Like I remember them being like epic when it was on Night Shift, when they had their moments. I'm not a Carson fan, but like if Carson got back together, like that's a super couple.
The way in which they get back together too, I think is important. So like Robert and Anna got back together on, oh God, please don't put them back together. Do not want. But I can still acknowledge them as a super couple and not want them back together. But like if they just got them together on some like humdum, like we took our grandkid on a trip and fell back in love bullshit, that would not be super couple. Like it would have to be like some big sweeping spy thing that was like in line with what they would still be a super couple, but it wouldn't be super couple writing. Ooh, the nuance.
Ooh, I like that.
But I do think Vanna is the closest thing. They don't have all the elements because they're just getting together, but like they're the prime contender for super couple.
Yeah, I was thinking them.
The epic writing.
Yeah, with the epic writing.
The high stakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sprina's getting like young adult
super couple. Yeah.
They're getting like teen. Well, they've been getting teen super couple writing, and they need it to be bumped up to young adult super couple writing. Mm-hmm. They're still kind of stuck in the Port Charles world. So
I mean, they also need to be a couple. Like they need to be like really directly moving towards that way. And that's why I was saying what doesn't work for me is like this, like them being apart and not being able, because like what you were saying, like this is way, way back. But when like Rory and Trina kissed, it was never about Rory and Trina kissing. It was about Spencer's reaction to seeing them kiss. And so we're missing, like with Spencer being in jail, we're missing his reactions to like to like their interactions. And I think that we're seeing the family part being part of like the super couple writing for them if they really do it right, where like Cassadines are against like the Ashfords, which is what we saw with like Curtis and Nicholas like having some conflict, or Portia not liking him. If Victor ends up having some sort of problem with Trina and like she's in danger, like that's the kind of epicness. I was like saying before, like super couple is not like I super like them. It's like actually like a writing style and like an epicness of the pairing. So I do think that Sprina has that potential. They just need to be put on the right, because like, you know, even when you talk about days, like Sean and Belle in the way they've been written, I think over time has made them in line with a super couple. Even though people didn't think they were, or people didn't really like them, or like not people. There are some people who don't like them and who would argue that they're not. The Sin couple on days like has that kind of writing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think. Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens when Sprina reinitiates contact this week.
Yes.
Please get my child out of jail for November sweeps. And I was just thinking, like, ooh, wouldn't it be interesting, as you were talking about Victor, like going after Trina, if Spencer had to use Cyrus resources to save Trina from.
Ooh, give it to me.
Wouldn't that be juicy? Yes. I like it. Because it's like, who does Laura hate more? Also, Cyrus or Victor? I think
Victor.
And then the Trina coming to terms with Cyrus saving her.
Mm-hmm.
And all that. Yeah, that would be super juicy.
You're welcome, Frank.
You're welcome, Frank. Text us.
I'm back, Frank.
All right, y'all. Thanks for indulging me in that super couple talk. So happy that we are back together. It's been a long time. I won't do it on the end like I did at the beginning. But hashtag free Spencer. Anything else from y'all before we close out?
Hashtag kill Cody.
Yep.
Hashtag kill Marcellus. Hashtag free Cyrus. Hashtag end the prison industrial complex.
Hashtag defund the PCPD and all PDs. And with that, we will see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye. Maybe if I can figure out how to